What up, people? Kamari Ellis here. We are talking crypto today. So listen, y'all know this is the Finance Rebel Show. I'm your host, Kamari Ellis. We're talking crypto today. Bitcoin fell off a cliff this year. Ethereum has fallen off a cliff this year. Litecoin has fell off the cliff this year, like every crypto. And I'm still trying to figure out, has Doge made it to the moon yet? Like that little doggy thingy that was riding the rocket. Not sure if he made it to the moon tonight, but listen, I got the fantastic duo by the hood to come here and help us talk about crypto, put it in proper context, and see if crypto is still a viable investment opportunity for everyday people like you and me. All right. The Finance Rebel Show is all about lifting the elevation of people's financial education so you can go from a little guy to some guy. All right, y'all. Got Jimmy and Corey in the background in the green room. They're coming on stage right now. What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
What's up, beloved?
What it is, though.
Good, man. I missed y'all. We done seen y'all 2 days in a row, but it's been like a month of Sundays since I seen y'all. How y'all doing?
Chilling, man.
Just out here working, man, trying to have it like the habits have it.
Okay. All right. I like that. But y'all, this is by the hood, right? Got to give them the air horn. Right? They solid, right? These people I rock with, this is fam. We fight like brothers do, but at the end of the day, if y'all come against one of us, you come against all of us. That's how we doing it, gang.
Listen, man. Now I got an objective. I got to say something so far I get the air horn again.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
now I got to get my notepad out. You know what I'm saying?
That's easy. Y'all stay dropping gems. That's easy. But listen, crypto in the trash right now from a performance standpoint. Mm-hmm. And, you know, everybody has always tagged me as the Bitcoin hater. I'm not the Bitcoin hater. I'm just the objective guy. But real quick, as we get into this, and Jimmy and Corey have been on before, so y'all, if y'all have not checked the backlog on the YouTubes, please check the backlog on the YouTubes. But real quick, just to set the context, what is cryptocurrency?
You want me to tell? All right. So cryptocurrency is basically computer money, right? So what cryptocurrency does, it allows peer-to-peer transactions over a ledger. And what it does is allow people to have a record on a ledger of a transaction peer-to-peer, right? So I'm gonna keep it real simple, right? Cryptocurrency isn't it doesn't need third-party authentication, because if it's a cryptocurrency, it has a ledger, which is that third-party authentication. So that's crypto in a small nutshell, really quickly. 30 seconds.
I just want to add to the conversation that cryptocurrency and Bitcoin are two different things, right? There's Bitcoin and then there's cryptocurrency, right? And the reason I say that is because Bitcoin is the only one that's truly decentralized. And it being decentralized, when you talk about, to keep it simplified, calling it computer money, there's a difference between decentralized money versus centralized money, which are all the other cryptocurrencies.
Okay, so you mean to tell me Ethereum's not decentralized?
Hell no.
Litecoin's not decentralized. Cardano is not decentralized. Listen, there's a whole list of them. They're not decentralized.
There is no other decentralized cryptocurrency.
XRP?
No.
Well, first of all, XRP is openly telling you they want to do business with banks and they want to become a solution.
That makes them automatically not decentralized.
Right? So then there's XRP, but there's also the organization that holds most of the XRP. That right there makes them like.
And they got an unlimited stash.
So here's the thing about decentralization. Most people don't even understand decentralization, because I hear a lot of people say that, well, a majority of this folk own, the cryptocurrency, therefore it's not decentralized. Decentralized just means there's not one point of attack. That's what it means, right? So the first thing that people get confused when they talk about Bitcoin is Bitcoin the currency versus Bitcoin the network, right? There's two types of Bitcoins. There's Bitcoin with a big B and Bitcoin with a little b. Bitcoin with a little b is the actual currency that we transact via our wallets, right? Then you have big B, which is the actual protocol and network, right? So that's rules without a ruler. That is truly decentralized. If you run a node or you operate in a mining capacity, you help keep the network afloat. And that network is the biggest decentralized network in the world. It's literally across the world. So there's no one point of attack. So if someone wanted to stop Bitcoin, it's almost, it actually is impossible, because if you knock off one thing, The only way to stop it is to cut off the electricity across the world. That's pretty much it.
And the internet.
The internet, right? So if you cut the internet off, then okay, cool. Now you've done it, right? But that also means if you cut the internet off, I'm not going to be thinking about cryptocurrency because there's so many other things that run.
The zombie apocalypse is upon us.
Yeah, at that point, I'm just grabbing a shoddy, and looking out for family. But what I'm saying is, Bitcoin is the only one like that. So most people like to talk about Ethereum, but the fact that we know who the founder of Ethereum is, he's touchable, seeable, people know who that is. That is an attack point, right? There is no one attack point on Bitcoin. Bitcoin, you never see anyone saying the Bitcoin CEO is coming out to answer for this or that because there is no person, right? There was one point in time years ago where Vitalik Buterin, who's the founder of Ethereum, got in a car accident. Him getting in a car accident made it come down because he's that important to the protocol, right? And it's not that I'm against other things, but I want people to understand what they are. There's a difference between Bitcoin and everything else. Most of the other cryptocurrencies, I look at those as almost tech plays.
They are tech companies. Not almost, they are.
That's the way I view them. I view them a little different than I view Bitcoin. I view Bitcoin as another asset.
They're not trying to solve the same problem
at all.
Well, here's the thing that I see. Each one of these coins, crypto tokens, whatever you want to say, usually has a white paper. But most people that are investing or trading or playing with these things never read the white papers. Do y'all see that?
Absolutely. First off, there's a difference between a coin and a token, right? If you're a crypto that you have an actual coin, that means you have your own network that you run on. Tokens run on other coins' networks. So that in itself separates the two. So if I'm running on top of Ethereum, that means that I need Ethereum to be functional for me to operate. I mean, you would think that adds value to the overall premise of Ethereum. So don't get me wrong. Like, I understand that Ethereum will be here, but I'm just saying that there is a difference because a lot of things run on top of Ethereum. Whether, I can name 20, 50, 100 of them. But bottom line is they're different. So most people do not read the white paper, in my experience at least.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, it's like every other asset class that we talk about. If we talk about the stock market, most people don't read the financials or the income statements either, right? Most people are chasing lottery tickets. So what they're doing is they're coming in and they're just listening to a stock tip they heard at work, something they saw on IG by, a fraudster or something like that. And they're chasing those things. They're not doing their proper due diligence. The same thing applies in every asset class. So it's no different.
But see, even if they read a white paper, they don't even know what they're looking for or looking at, right? So we can tell people to read, but if they don't know what they're looking for, what the terminology is, then they still gonna be asked out. So,
I mean, well, you brought it up. What should they be looking for?
You should be looking for the volume. You should be looking at the number of tokens. Can more tokens be generated? You should be looking at the team, right? Is the team legitimate, right? Is they just some fly-by-night team? Who's backing the token? You know what I mean? Who's backing the protocol? Who's backing the coin? You should be looking for the utility, right? What problem are they saying that this coin or token is going to solve? And then is there the ability to actually do what they say they're going to do? Right. So those are all things, and that's, just off the top of my head that you should be looking for in a white paper.
Gotcha.
Also, just to add to the conversation, right? So you have a lot of these protocols that have been promising things for years and have yet to deliver, right? So utility to me is the number one thing that you want to look for. And I'm probably going to drop a number of book recommendations because like any information that I'm giving, this isn't like my opinion. A lot of this is like researched and thought out. So one of the books I want to mention is The Business of Blockchain. And shout out to Alicia Shine, who recommended that book to me. But one of the more interesting things that they go over in that book is
another friend to the show, by the way.
Absolutely. Beautiful, brilliant young sister. But here's the thing, right? One of the things they talk about in that book is how most of these tokens or coins that are claiming to solve a problem, even if they're claiming to solve that problem, most of them don't need to be on the blockchain, right? Because they're not decentralized, right? So they're not decentralized. They don't need to be on a blockchain. They can run on a database, but they like saying they're on a blockchain because that's trendy. Or should I say it was trendy? it was faster to build capital. Saying I'm on the blockchain versus saying I have a tech company that solves this problem were two different things as it pertains to VC money and just getting money in general, because it was such a hot sector. So when you look at a project, first thing I want to know is, what's the point of it being on the blockchain? Like, so is it being on the blockchain actually making a difference, or is it just marketing? It's almost like the term AI, right? The term AI has been bastardized as well. You see that in a lot of companies that have nothing to do with AI. I've seen a company add blockchain to their name and their valuation on the stock market go up, and they change nothing about their core business. So it's a real thing. But a lot of these things do not have to be on the blockchain. And a lot of these things, because they have founder, when someone tells me that a project is decentralized and these are the founders behind the project, right there, I know it's not decentralized. There's a point of attack with the founder. So just understanding exactly what you're getting into, that's very important. In doing your research to figure out, even if they are solving a problem, is it necessary for them to try to do it on a blockchain? So that's a good book right there. It's called The Business of Blockchain.
I mean, but let's go with that, right? Because I think that's really important. You talk about management, Corey talked about the people that's running it. And don't worry, everybody. We're going to talk about the actual crypto. So stay tuned. But it's important that we lay the foundation in the context. But when you say that the team and people can identify them, I mean, doesn't that count for something though? I mean, is it real? Can it really be a point of attack? And I want to say something, but I can't say it because it might get me flagged by them folks. But if you have a way of truly decentralizing it and saying like it's open source, right? Everybody's got access to it. Doesn't that take away the centralized point of attack?
Now, all right, so that's a great question, by the way. You're good at this journalist thing, brother. But, but the point is, it depends upon a couple things. Was there a pre-mine? Most of these things have pre-mines where
time out. Yep. What in the world is pre-mine, man?
All right, so now if I'm creating a token or a coin or what have you, and I have a whole team behind me, we pre-mine, meaning that we take a certain amount of the available tokens and everything before they go to the market. So now if we pre-mine 70%, and some people estimate that's the pre-mine of Ethereum, but I've seen different numbers in terms of estimations. But if I have 70% and I put the rest of the 30 out for everyone else to contribute to, that means that not only is it centralized from the standpoint of the founder is there and that's a point of attack, but I have a majority of the actual coin, right?
So I control the price.
So I control everything. That's what I mean by a pre-mine, and that's why I mean that it makes a difference. So here's the thing about
pre-mine is kind of like pre-IPO then.
Similar, yes.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. When you look at cryptocurrency or Bitcoin or whatever you want to call it, you have to figure out what you're in it for. Most people are in it for number go up. And if you're in it for number go up, you're going to have a different perspective from someone who's looking at having a decentralized asset, right? Because it's very similar. So the one thing I like about, I'm going to say Bitcoin specifically is what brought me into the space, and Corey actually introduced me to the space, but I just went berserk. Like I literally study this every day, is that it has a lot of the same similarities as precious metals. And I've been a precious metal investor for years. So when it comes to
like it, that's why I got your attention.
Yeah. So basically, I've made a living in real estate. I actually came to the realization talking to you yesterday. I was like, I've never had any job outside of real estate. I've only ever worked in real estate as an entrepreneur or But anyway,
talk about specialization.
The point is this though. I am certified with Bitcoin, but the reason I went and got certified with Bitcoin is because the study of it was very interesting to me, because what I realized is a combination of real estate, it's a combination of precious metals, and it's a combination of the stock market. All the asset classes that I like have attributes that are similar to Bitcoin, right? It has some of the rights, like property rights, the same way that real estate does. It has the decentralization of like precious metals. It has its own 24/7, 365 market, which can be traded or invested, or like similar to the stock market. So it has like a little bit of attributes of all these things. But the one thing about it in terms of it being very similar to precious metals is it's absolutely decentralized, speaking of Bitcoin specifically. And that it makes it very attractive to me, because it's not just about the number go up. Because when you start to operate on the Bitcoin standard, Side note, another amazing book is called The Bitcoin Standard. When you start to operate on the Bitcoin Standard and you're counting sats or satoshis, which are short for, so here's the thing, every Bitcoin every Bitcoin has 100 million satoshis.
Jim, finish your thought and then
all right, so anyway, because I don't want to, like, sometimes I get in my nerd bag and I'll be talking, but the bottom line is when you start to count sats or Bitcoin and you don't really care about the dollar standard, you operate a little different. So for instance, as Bitcoin is fluctuating now, I'm actually getting excited while everybody else is panicking, because I'm so convinced in my analysis of what this thing will be 50 years from now that to me, this is just an opportunity. And it's not like, I see some people just getting scared and doing all kinds of craziness. But to me, this is amazing. I'm excited right now because of my study and because of the way I look at this. I'm
excited because of what I see our governments and governments around the world doing.
All right, now let's time out. Let's go back to what a Satoshi is and who Satoshi Nakamura is.
1/1,000,000th of a Bitcoin.
All right, give it to him one more time, Corey.
1/1,000,000th of a Bitcoin.
What the hell is that?
100 million. I'm sorry, 1/100,000,000th of a Bitcoin. So every Bitcoin, there's 100 million Satoshis to every Bitcoin. And so every Satoshi is 1/100,000,000th of a Bitcoin.
Okay.
So it's a fraction of a Bitcoin, right? So a Satoshi is a fraction of a Bitcoin. It takes 100 million Satoshis to equal one Bitcoin.
So when y'all see people talking about they stacking stats,
stacking sats,
that's what we stacking. When we say we stacking sats, that's one of our battle cries, man. Stack sats or die trying. When we say we're stacking sats, we're stacking fractions of a Bitcoin, because most people feel like they have to buy one full Bitcoin when that's not the case. That's not the case, right? In
just
fact,
like stock, right? It's fractional. So it's fractional buying of a Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin right now is somewhere between 20,000, 21,000. Last time we looked.
Yeah, I've seen a model where someone says, based upon the population and the number of Bitcoin, the 21 million that'll be mined, if you have 0.28 of a Bitcoin, that will put you in the 1% long term in terms of the valuation of a Bitcoin. Right?
Okay, so there's only 21 million Bitcoin that are available, right?
That will ever be available.
That'll ever be available. They're not even available yet.
Now, I thought there was going to be a forking, and y'all can go into that, which would make more.
There's a difference between halvening and a fork.
Okay.
Halvening means they're bringing down the hash rate that Bitcoin can be mined at, which means it's harder to produce the Bitcoin, right?
And when you say hash rate
is the rate at which coins can be mined for specifically Bitcoin and what we're talking about here. And then you talking about a fork. A fork is someone using the same protocol to try to move off of that protocol. And like, so Dogecoin is a fork. Bitcoin, Litecoin is a fork of Bitcoin. There's other forks of other coins, but so Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Dogecoin are all forks of Bitcoin. Those are forks.
Okay.
Those
so
are other protocols that are built similarly to Bitcoin.
There's a soft fork and a hard fork, right? So one is an update.
Hold on, Jimmy. I hope everybody is taking notes, because there's going to be a test later on, right? And we're going to have a little contest. So make sure y'all taking notes, because I'm going to test y'all later, because I'm taking notes. Y'all should be taking notes too, and I got a reward for y'all at the end. Go ahead, Jim.
So there is a soft fork and a hard fork, right? So a soft fork is just an update in the protocol, which kind of like operates backwards. So it's like how can I put it? If you had like a PlayStation, but you can still play your old games on it, that's kind of how a soft fork is. You make updates, but you still can use all the old stuff. A hard fork is when it actually becomes its own chain. So Litecoin was a hard fork of
Bitcoin.
Yes, but then off of Litecoin, Doge was off of Litecoin. So Doge didn't come directly from Bitcoin; it came from Litecoin, which came from Bitcoin. So
I mean, okay. So technically, I was wrong.
Not really. I got it.
Right? No, I just want to point it out. I just want to point it out because I know how some people are.
It's derived from the Bitcoin protocol.
It's a derivative. It's like an option. It isn't necessarily a stock, or whatever asset we're looking at, but it comes from stock, right? Just for that example. Gotcha.
Well, the thing is though, because basically what you're saying is, you're getting people that will agree to operate this new chain with these new protocols. So let's just say all of us are operating, we're all running nodes on, say, Bitcoin, but we disagree. We think that this one thing should be changed in the protocol, right? Unless you get consensus, you can't change that. So some people will say, look, I'll just get enough people to come over here with me, and now we run Litecoin or whatever it may be. There's so many folks off of Bitcoin. You got Bitcoin Gold, you got Bitcoin Cash. There's so many different forks off of there. But to get back to what Corey was talking about, the halvening is something that's interesting because most people don't understand that this is all part of the cycle. So when we're looking at the market now, if you've studied market cycles, you knew this was coming. This was inevitable. So this shouldn't be a surprise. But I know that some people are just getting in, so I totally understand. One of the great things about being in the space now for, over half a decade is that this isn't the first time I've been through this. And the first time I did go through this, I was in total shock when my holdings went from 20 to down to 20K to 3. But
2017.
But what it made me do though, around 2018. But what it made me do though, it made me start to learn. That's when I picked up all the books. I've read probably 60 books on Bitcoin, and then that's from the technological standpoint to the economic standpoint. But I did all that in the bear market because I wanted to learn to see if this is something that I was really going to focus on long term. So, that's one of the things that it was fortunate. And also because I dollar cost average that entire time, that was probably one of the smartest decisions I decided to make in my entire life, literally.
So hold on, I want to do something. So Lysandra Everett is my tax sister. She is a crypto tax expert. She says,
hey, how you doing?
So Lysandra, if you want to come in, send me a DM, or you look like you're on Facebook, send me an inbox, and I will definitely add you to the show because you will definitely add value to this.
You need to plug us in with Lysandra. I need to talk to her.
Yeah, I got a couple. I got Lysandra, and then I got Ty, who works for Token Tax. Yeah, I got I need to do. I'm going to do more.
Listen, as an aside, I'm gonna put this on the record while we live, man. I listened to one of your episodes of your podcast today, and it was amazing. And I'm not saying that because I'm on your show, but
I feel like
no. Listen, I'm gonna tell you which one it was, man. The overemployed episode you did in May of this year. I listened to that, and I'm like, my mind was blown. I had it was just like a Matrix moment. Like, hold up, people are really doing this. So I just want to say that was an amazing episode you had. I want to put that on the record.
So for everybody that didn't appear on YouTube, sometimes you got to go directly to the podcast, the audio podcast. I know we're in this new world now where video and audio kind of merge in regards to podcasts, but sometimes I can't do interviews on YouTube like
First
that.
Off, I told you be in your journalist bag, right? So I start to listen to it, and I'm hearing this dude talk, and I'm like, yo, dude is changing his voice with a machine. I said, oh, Kamari really interviewing the mafia out here? Like, what's going on?
Well, so listen, all right, we're gonna take a quick timeout, right? We're gonna take a quick timeout.
Oh, am I joking?
We're gonna take a quick timeout, right? Y'all all should listen to that interview, and I'm not just saying it because it's mine, but it is mine, and I'm proud of it. But what Jimmy's talking about is job stacking, and so you have a whole community of people who are job stacking. Meaning, listen, folks have worked multiple jobs for years and years and years. These folks have figured out how to work multiple jobs at the same time. And we're not talking about minimum wage jobs. We are talking about 6-figure type income situations. So you got whole communities. Most of them don't look like us, but they are some of us in there. That's how I got introduced to it, right? That's why I always say representation matters. Just to pull my coat. But you got folks in there that have 9 jobs making well over 1.5 million-ish a year gross revenue.
And I told you, and I know we way off on a tangent, but this is what we do. We talk anyway.
No, we're going to bring it back.
No, but I thought that was an amazing episode. I listened to it today as I was working, and I'm sitting there like, hold up, this is a whole culture. You guys are talking about, so you get J1 and you stack J2, or you have J1.5. I'm like, hold up, they're talking a whole, they
got a whole language.
Y'all talking the done language right now.
It's crazy. Like, damn.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is a thing. They talking the done language.
Yep. I mean,
No, but great episode though. Great episode.
It is a whole culture, and the reason why they have the voice mod is because they don't want people to know about it. Even though that was the founder of that, he's been interviewed on Bloomberg and like one or two others. He doesn't do a whole lot of interviews. He doesn't want to be out there in the public like that.
No, that was dope though. Dope episode, man.
So everybody check it out. I'll put it in the chat at some point today. Everybody should listen to that. All right, back to Bitcoin, back to blockchain, back to crypto. All right. Nobody's doing research, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody's looking to get rich quick. Mm-hmm. That happens in every asset class, every market, every opportunity.
Yep.
But you are saying, no, that ain't it.
I ain't saying that ain't it. I'm just saying you got.
But no, you're saying.
I'm saying that if you're willing to do the research and get into these other, coins and all of that stuff, it's up to your risk tolerance, right? For the vast majority, that ain't it, because most people aren't willing to do that. But
okay, for you, is it? Is that it?
I've become Bitcoin only.
All right.
I went from chasing every coin under the sun. I don't have anything. I don't own anything but Bitcoin now.
Okay. All right. Hold that. Because I don't want to go, because that's a whole other line of thought, line of consciousness.
Mm-hmm. To answer your question, so I'm against people not doing investment. I mean, not doing research on anything.
Okay.
I don't care what it is. I'm anti not doing research, right? Because I mean, even if you decide to go to Corey route where you're buying Bitcoin only, you should be studying Bitcoin.
Yep.
Right? You should be studying that to understand the changes that are happening, what's going on from a political standpoint. You should be studying microeconomics, macroeconomics. You should be studying. Like, I'm big on just studying. Whether we're talking about crypto or we're talking about real estate or the stock market, regardless of what that is, studying takes place. Now, I understand that we all have jobs and things that we want to do, but all of this is connected.
Well, let me ask you a question. It's kind of a little question. Mm-hmm. Why are you pro-studying?
Because I believe that you should understand. So a lot of times in finance, right, and I understand that personal finance is personal. So everyone's situation is different. But I believe in taking responsibility for your money, right? One of the things that attracts me to crypto, keeping with crypto, is the ability to become sovereign. It's the ability to control my resources. I run a node over here, so I know what's going on the blockchain 24/7, 365. I have all my stuff in cold storage, so I have control over my value.
And what is cold storage?
That's one of the things that attracts me to cryptocurrency. So cold storage is where I take my Bitcoin and I move it to a cold wallet, which is not connected to the internet, and that's where I store it. So now I have my private keys that I control, and only I can access it with my private keys. It's a difference between buying crypto and, say, leaving it on an exchange, which most people do, which is absolutely what you shouldn't do. This is how people got hurt with Celsius and some of the others, Voyager, and some of the other ones that are not allowing withdrawals now.
But wait a minute, you can't hack Bitcoin, so why does it matter if it's on the blockchain or not?
Well, because again, you're taking something decentralized and you're leaving it in the hands of a third party.
Yeah.
So you're kind of defeating the purpose of having Bitcoin if you leave it with Coinbase, because now, let's just say Coinbase gets attacked, right? They can lose my Bitcoin, right? Yeah. Another thing is this: if I'm a hacker,
but how can he lose your Bitcoin if Bitcoin is immutable?
It'll just be in someone else's wallet. It'll be in someone else's wallet.
Everybody says Bitcoin can't be hacked. So
no, it's not about hacking Bitcoin, right? It's about that your control of your value is with Coinbase. If someone hacks Coinbase's servers and takes the Bitcoin from their computers, guess what? Your Bitcoin is gone. Doesn't matter the network. You can't get into the network. The network is still around, right? But the fact of the matter is, you're taking your asset and you're giving it to a third party. You're giving away your control. If I have it on my cold wallet, that means that I control it. If I want to send you value, I send it right from my cold wallet. There is no third party in between. There's no exchange, and there is no crypto bank in between. It's me and you dealing peer to peer, right? Exchanges are hacked all the time. If someone wants to do the research and look up Mt. Gox, at one point Mt. Gox had between 7 and 8% of all crypto, and it was completely hacked, and all of it was lost, right? Because people leave their things on exchanges, and that's the worst thing you can do.
That's like buying clothes and leaving them at the store.
you can if you can't afford to get a cold wallet, because a cold wallet does have a cost associated with it, right? You can get a Ledger or a Trezor. Those are some of the more popular ones. I mean, I use all kinds of other stuff. I use a cold card, and I use a bunch of other foundation device. But I use a bunch of other.
You want to talk about Bitcoin safety and crypto safety, or you want to leave that? You want to leave that to?
I mean, we don't have to get into that.
We're gonna do a part 2 of this.
But what I do want to say is, if you get your cold wallet and you move it to the cold wallet, that's as safe as you can be because you control that. But if you can't afford a cold wallet, get a hot wallet. You can get a trust wallet.
You can download it right on your phone. Yeah. Get a hot wallet, but then you gotta protect your information. What I will say is, if you get a hot wallet, do not leave your code words and your passwords on your phone.
Not at all.
You will get hacked, and somebody will take your crypto.
So a cold wallet, hot wallet, don't leave it on your phone.
Yeah, never leave your crypto information of how to get into your crypto on a phone, because that is the easiest point of attack. Everybody got a phone, and phones get hacked more than anything. Do not leave your crypto information on a phone.
Or what some people do is they'll put it in OneDrive, Google Cloud. Don't do that. Write it down. They also have devices you can put to.
Don't do that.
Out. But whatever you want to do,
don't put it in the cloud. Don't put it nowhere digital. Because if it's somewhere digital, somebody can get their hands on it digitally. Especially if you want to have control of your stuff. So the two things you don't want to do is leave your stuff on an exchange and then put your information digitally on anywhere.
And as you get more advanced, as you start to study, you start to have an understanding of what this thing is, what you're doing. The next step I say is, after a cold wallet, is to start to use what's called
multi-sig wallet.
Right? So what multi-sig is, you have. So for instance, my multi-sig is set up 3 of 7. In order for me to move any of my value off of a specific place, I had to have 3 of 7 devices to hit, to actually press enter on before it can go through.
Yep. And that's because you're afraid that somebody's going to come at you with the blicky and get you all at one time.
Yeah, but guess what? If they take it, I don't keep all my listen. Never leave a stash house where you crash out. So
decentralize that too.
I decentralize that too, right? I decentralize that too. One of the things about studying Bitcoin is a thing called the Bitcoin rabbit hole.
All right, time out. We got to do something. This is major. I'm about to make history, y'all. I'm about to make history. There's a certain young lady who's been whipping my butt on YouTube for a long time. And I've been trying to track her down for a long time. And this is the first time we are going to do a broadcast together. Say what's up to the home biz tax lady, Miss Lysandra Everett. Gotta give her the horns. Like, listen, this lady is an inspiration for me, right? And this is one of my taxes. Is like true indeed. She's a crypto expert, tax expert. We inspire one another. She inspires me. But I am like so happy to have her on tonight. What's up, sis?
Oh, okay, yeah. Now we're really like, okay, let me go back and hide again.
No. Listen. She's trying to act shy right now. But listen, Lysandra's on YouTube kicking my butt. I can't break 10,000. I've been trying to break 10,000 for like 5 years. She's been over like 20,000 in the last, like when I first met her like 5 years ago. I still can't catch up. Still can't catch up.
And I listen, I've been off for about a year, so you don't have plenty of time to catch up. So I already told you, July is back on and popping.
You've been off for a year, bro. You had time to catch up. What happened, bro?
So listen, she talks slick too. Don't get it twisted. I love her.
Yeah.
I love her to death.
I like that. I like that
slick.
Like, what happened?
She subbed you real quick right there. Come on, sub it.
Yes.
Come in subbing. That's what I like.
Yes. So listen, follow number one, real quick before I go any further, follow By the Hood on YouTube and all their corresponding social medias. Make sure you follow the Home Biz Tax Lady. These are people I personally rock with. Now everybody's been talking about, Kamari's been on a tangent. Matter of fact, I was on By the Hood yesterday talking about all these
scoundrels.
Scoundrels, charlatans, and fools of ill repute. And actually, between all of these three, they see everything I complain about. So I always tell y'all I'm the same person in person that I am online. So the same shit I complain about in person, I'm complaining about online. So I'm not doing it for the likes. I'm not doing it for the followers. I'm doing it because our community is being ravaged by a lot of these fake scoundrels, as Corey said. So I don't really believe in talking about people, but I'm probably going to blur the lines a little bit. You're going to see me talk a little bit more heavy about this because they are fleecing our community. They are fleecing our community.
Yeah.
But enough about that. Lacender's in the building. We talking crypto. We going to talk a little bit about tax, but really this show is all about how can people survive the crypto storm that they are in right now. And so, Jimmy, I called a timeout real quick. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm so excited. Lacender's here. I forgot where we were at.
No, we were talking about protecting your crypto and how to use
protecting your crypto.
Yeah, and how to use multi-sig once you get to that level, right? So I wouldn't suggest anyone to start.
Yeah, you don't start at that level.
But once you get to the point where you have some value and you want to protect it, I think multi-sig.
Get it off an exchange.
But one of the things I was telling you, Kamari, I already dropped like 3 books. I was about to drop another one. The Bitcoin rabbit hole. One of the things about studying Bitcoin is you start to go down a rabbit hole, and you start to understand more about pretty much everything, about politics, about economics, about education. So it's a lot deeper than just number go up.
When you say that about any asset class, right? Because stocks deals with politics, right?
The stock market is definitely
real
like
estate.
that.
No,
Real estate is like that.
You're absolutely right. All of them actually. You're right about that. But one of the more interesting things about Bitcoin is when you start to really study decentralization. And that's what I meant when I said multi-sig, about not even having all of the different devices that you need to check off before you can send value out, not even having them in one place. So not only is now the asset, decentralized, but also my access to it is decentralized, right? And that's what I was talking about. But that's when you start to get paranoid, and you want to, because the thing about security is you want to be very, very careful with security. If you build up a nice amount, you want to protect it because, again, not your keys, not your cheese, but becoming your own bank and taking your own value into your
responsibility
hands, you're responsible for security.
So it's kind of like the man that lost the Bitcoin password. It was like 6 million or something
You see all kinds of stories like that.
Yeah,
man. And the other thing, if we're going to talk about security, we got to talk about passing this stuff along to your family. Leave instructions. Leave instructions of how to get to your stuff. Make sure your family can access this stuff. If something was to happen to you and you become incapacitated in some kind of way, or you pass away, you need to be able to access. You spent the time building it. You have to leave instructions on how to access.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. We had unfortunately, there was a brother from our community who passed away, and he was in crypto early, built up a nice amount, but he was the only one in his family that knew how to access it, and his family is still yet to tap into everything that he built, and he built up something nice.
Okay.
So here this article says this man owns 321 million in Bitcoin. So he got like a lot of whole Bitcoins, but he can't access it because he lost his password. So there's no, and we're just going to talk about this briefly because I want to get back to crypto specifically. There's no password like reset or anything on it.
Nah, because then that takes away from the security of it. There's no password resets. So I'm going to say there is ways to access things without having the original password, but that takes a lot of know-how. I'm going to say know-how. We're going to leave it there.
Okay. So 321 million is just somewhere floating around, up and down, going up and down in value. But he has
really
no
has
way.
$321 million in Bitcoin locked away somewhere. He needs to get a professional to get his money.
Okay.
Yeah, he don't want it bad enough.
And we have $321 million. He can afford it.
Got you. All right. So what are we seeing out here on the crypto front? Again, I know y'all already kind of leaked out that y'all Bitcoin only for the most part, but everybody is infatuated with all these coins. I go on to CNBC and I'll pull that up as well, but I go on to CNBC and, you see all these coins. Now, admittedly, I study this stuff lightly. I don't follow it like y'all do. Like everybody here is more of an expert on this than I am at this point in time. How are people picking these coins? Is it just by what's the hottest thing today? What do they think is going to be the hottest thing tomorrow? Like, what are y'all seeing?
Most people are picking based on what's happening on social media.
Yep.
They see somebody say, ooh, I just made X amount with this coin. And so everybody's going to go and run and get some. So some influencer of some sort has said, hey, I just, it was a penny. Now it's a nickel, and then everybody just flows. Okay, let me go get some of that or whatever. So it is that get rich quick mentality. And I have explained to people, can you get rich with cryptocurrency? Yes, you can. But will you get rich quickly? Not necessarily. And so that's what I see.
You gotta define quick though.
Yeah, exactly.
If you bought Bitcoin in 2017 and it's now 2022, that's 5 years. That's if you bought 10 Bitcoin in 2017 at 900, $1,000, and now you got 100 and 200.
No, these are people that's trying to get rich tomorrow. They're trying to buy today and have
this is what I'm saying. You got to define
have $1 million tomorrow. Like that's not exactly gonna. That
don't work like
the
that.
Microwave mentality. Like it really does not work here.
It doesn't work that way.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So we got Bitcoin Stamp, Gemini, Finex Cash, Bitcoin Stamp, Ethereum, Gemini, another Litecoin, XRP, Doge. What happened to Doge anyway? It never made it to the moon. Doge never made it to the moon. Well, we got all these, all these different coins and tokens, and I know Jimmy gave us an explanation earlier, but
so some of those
is anybody really making money off these?
Yes, there are people still making money, right? So I saw a lot of coins on there that had some utility, like the Decentralization and the things like that are metaverse tokens, right? Those have some utility, right? Then you have, I saw what was that? Axie Infinity, right? That's the gaming token, right? There's whole countries that's playing that game and they're using that for, they're using that to get income. They playing these games for income, right? You got Solana, which has its own blockchain. Then you have, Crow, which is on the oh my god, I'm drawing a blank on the blockchain, Cosmos blockchain, right? So there's blockchains, and then like you said, there's coins, and then there's tokens, right? And so some of these tokens, like the Matic token, right, it has utility, right? So there are some of these tokens that have utility, but they all have a CEO, right? They all have they have a pain point, right? Where you could just go right straight to them and get right to them. I'm not saying, Binance, right? But the Binance CEO, they was over here in US, and the US was like, no, bro, you can't do it like that, like you doing it. And they put them out, and now we got a Binance US and then a regular Binance for the rest of the world. Right, and so that's one of the biggest exchanges. That might be the biggest exchange, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody might have overtook them. I haven't really been looking.
No, Binance is the biggest. But see, the thing is, even with those that have quote unquote utility, everything doesn't have to be money. And I think that's one of the biggest disconnects when it comes to cryptocurrency. Is again, some of these things could just be databases, but what they do is they put them on the blockchain because they're able to create a currency, and now they can make money with the currency. Some of these things don't need to have currency, right? Because think about this, right? Starbucks has one of the biggest rewards programs in the world, right? Where they have the Starbucks points when you pay. That's one of and they have their own network and everything like that. It's the equivalent of them saying, now we're going to put this on the blockchain. So now you can trade the Starbucks points up and down. They operate pretty fine without having to do that. They're centralized.
Well, they can create an NFT, right?
Yeah, but I'm talking about the actual Starbucks, like the actual Starbucks points, making them currency. Right? Yeah. They currently operate pretty okay in a centralized capacity just by doing what they're doing. And most of these things are centralized, but what they do is they're creating value out of thin air, more or less, right? But that's why you have to be careful in following advice you see on social media, because here's another secret about some of these crypto people on social media. A lot of them are getting paid to show stuff.
paid.
Right.
And how do I know? Because I got an inbox full of people trying to pay me to shield stuff. So therefore, I know it, and I operate with integrity, so I don't care.
So wait a minute, y'all said no to the brag?
Come on, we turned down more money than we probably make. But
Man,
the fact of the matter is,
Y'all turned down money to promote blockchain.
We turned down infinitely more money than we make.
But the fact is
infinite.
You just have
I already
to
know that, y'all, but I wanted everybody else to understand this. I think we had to do a better job of highlighting people that operate in integrity. But
no, because I think that's important. That's important to say. And the crazy part about it is some of the stuff is literally Googleable. There's a big crypto influencer like that I've seen where you can literally Google it and you'll find his pay scale in terms of what he charges, how much he charges for a mention, how much he charges to put on his show, how much he charges to say it's in his portfolio. It's actually out there. It's like a menu. But people follow his advice, and this guy's on YouTube with over 1 million followers, right? So he has influence. But just be careful in doing that, and that's why, getting back to your earlier question, Kamari, that's why to me research is so important. And me and you and Corey were talking yesterday. We talked about, a lot of us say that, but I think the next step is we have to show people how to research, because it's simple to say. It's simple to say go do your research, but I think the next step is now we have to show people how to.
Yeah. I mean, but listen, you just said Google. All of us got one of these, one of the most powerful computers ever made in mankind. It's like a billion minds in this thing. And you just click on the app and just say, do. How does blockchain work? Do.
We got a lot of questions in the chat. We got a lot of questions.
I see them. We're going to get to them. But listen, tonight is more so about y'all and the experts. I want them to be able to soak it up. We'll definitely have time for the questions, though. But I just want to look at this real quick and put this in the stream as well. This is a report from the FTC, right? Data Spotlight, FTC reporting back to you. Report shows scammers cashing in on crypto craze. Ooh, I probably should do a whole show on this. This just got released June 3rd, 2020. 2022, excuse me. But it said for Super Bowl ads, to Bitcoin ATMs, cryptocurrency seems to be everywhere lately, which is true. So, and I've seen there are some celebrities who have been dinged, smacked on the hand for promoting crypto. I think DJ Khaled comes to mind.
Floyd, Khaled, a couple people.
Floyd Mayweather.
What's the name? What's the
I think T.I.
T.I. got slapped. What's the name? Getting hit with a lawsuit now. Dogecoin boy. Tesla man.
Elon,
yeah.
He should get smacked a little bit, but that's a whole other conversation. But so, crypto's down now across the board, from Bitcoin to Doge to, Doge is at like 6 cents right now. It clearly never made it to the moon, never got out of the atmosphere. I just like making jokes about Doge because it's so easy. But will crypto come back?
Yep.
I think so. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it's just like, any other market that has its ups and downs, but for it to like go away, that's not happening. It has become too vital just even international, being able to do international business. You saw it. We were in Florida, and here at this hotel, you can exchange your foreign currency, and oh, by the way, you can purchase cryptocurrency here too. So it's going to take something like cataclysmic, I think, to make cryptocurrency go anywhere. But it's too deep now, I think. But that's just the world according to Lysandra. But the drama that we have to go through, and this is what I explain to people, the drama that we have to go through with the traditional banking, cryptocurrency takes so much of that away.
It does.
Now, at the same time, all of those protections that we have, like that whole FDIC insurance, but not everybody has FDIC insurance. These other countries that we are so arrogant as Americans that we think everybody has what we have, but no, we don't. FDIC insurance is not worldwide. If people's banks go under, they lose their money. And so cryptocurrency actually provides them some stability because it's more stable than their own banking. They at least got a chance with cryptocurrency than they do with their own banking system. So
that's why you see a lot of these smaller countries moving to the Bitcoin standard or to another crypto standard like Stellar Lumens or whatever cryptocurrency. You'll see these smaller countries where the banking is trash and terrible move on to crypto standards. So
was that Nicaragua? Was it Nicaragua?
El Salvador.
El Salvador.
Mm-hmm.
El Salvador was the first country, and then you got the CAR. CAR is the second. Yeah, the African something African Republic.
Oh, Central
African something Republic.
You're not talking about the DRC, are you?
Lysandra literally stole my point. That was an amazing point. And the point I was getting ready to make, Kamari, is that I think sometimes as Americans, we are arrogant. And we don't recognize that, first of all, crypto is global. And some of these other countries do not have the protections we have. And so this is revolutionary for them in a whole different aspect. I've seen people who literally got out of sex trafficking and slavery based upon value. Because one of the things we don't understand as Americans is just how important money is with everything else, how this connects pretty much everything else in the world. Because we have banks that, we can go to and give us certain levels of insurance. We can store our money. The thing about cryptocurrency is you can literally store your money in your head if you wanted to, right? You can memorize your private keys, put those in your head, and you can travel the world. One of the things that attracted me to crypto is, as someone who bought precious metals for years, if I wanted to, say, go travel with my precious metals and I wanted to put them on a plane, I got to check them. I can put my cold wallet in my pocket and I can memorize my keys, and I don't even have to have a wallet. I can memorize my keys, get a wallet wherever I'm going, and put it there, and I have all my money on me. So there are people.
Oh, so you can transfer from wallet to wallet easily.
Yes, as long as you have your private keys. Now, but the thing about that is, think about how that affects someone who's living in a war-torn country, right? Think about how that affects someone. Think about if you were living in Russia, right? And, all your property's been damaged, the ruble's next to nothing at this point. Imagine if you had your money in, somewhere else and you stored it in your head. You could just travel around the world with your money in your wallet. So I think that a lot of times as Americans, like, we forget that this is something global and everybody doesn't have, markets the way we do. Like, we can open up a Robinhood TD Ameritrade account tomorrow and be buying. So everybody doesn't have that.
Right.
Everybody doesn't have the markets. They don't have the bank accounts. So to get back to your question, that's a reason why this isn't going anywhere.
And I mean, to y'all's point, right, when you look at this, how common is crypto shares of respondents in selected countries who said that they use or own cryptocurrency, and this is 2020. So Nigeria is 33%. The United States is at 6%, right? Japan is at 4%. You would think Japan would be leading more, especially since, Sakamoto Nakamoto, I always say his name wrong. Stats dude originated from Japan, allegedly, if he's even real.
Satoshi,
thank you. Yes, I always check it out, but I find that interesting. But to your point, a lot of times America is lagging.
It's global, and and this is why people don't understand the Bitcoin network, right? Because arrogant Americans think that Bitcoin is a American phenomenon. It's not. It's a worldwide thing. Jim got to know here. It's 10 people that got nodes in Nicaragua and 20 people that got nodes in Uzbekistan, and you got another 30 people who got nodes in California, and you got another 3,000 people that got them in China. Like, nodes are all over the place, right? And so as long as there's Bitcoin nodes running and the Bitcoin miners running, there's always going to be a Bitcoin network. It's the largest computer network in the world. And that's what people are not getting. It's the largest independent computer network in the world. It's not owned solely by anybody.
So is it bigger than the actual internet?
No, it's not bigger than the internet. But I'm talking about as a computer network, like individual network, it's bigger than anything.
Okay. I mean, I had to ask that question because you put it up.
No, it's not bigger than the internet.
But again, as a decentralized network, but if you go to bitnodes.io, you can actually see just how many nodes are and how they're literally all around the world. And as long as one node runs, the network runs, right? So, this is why it's not going anywhere.
And this is why we say the network is decentralized. The actual, price go up, price go down. That's more centralized than it's ever been, right? Because now because you have these big corporations recognizing how much Bitcoin is going to affect the world moving forward, right? And so, what we try to get people to do is not sell their Bitcoin, right?
Hold that thought, Corey. I mean, this is to your point, right? How Ukraine is using crypto to fund the war. I mean, that's major. I know a lot of people are like, especially people in our community,
they bombed their banks and all of that kind of stuff, and they needed money to fund stuff. They literally was getting Bitcoin from all around the world.
Right.
The same thing happened in Canada when they were protesting in Canada, and Canada was like, "We're gonna cut y'all bank accounts off." People from around the world just start sending them Bitcoin, right? And funded their movement. And
it's in a blink of an eye. This is the other thing I tell people, like, you really have to understand this. If you have to wire money, right?
Oh my God.
You gotta go to the bank. You gotta set up your wire. You gotta pay the fees. You gotta wait for it to get there. And then the other person has to receive it and the fees and all that stuff. That takes days, right? With cryptocurrency, you send it and it's in there in a fraction of the time. And the fees are cheaper.
Bitcoin,
and you don't have to worry about any conversions, like none of that.
If you send Bitcoin on the Lightning Network, you can send it from here to anywhere in the world in less than 10 minutes.
Less than 10 seconds, not 10 minutes.
What I'm saying is,
the crazy part is, Lysandra stole another point I was going to make. Lysandra, you're on it tonight. Because the other point I was going to make is, even being American, if you've ever tried to send a wire, you know how frustrating that is.
And how costly it is.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that in 2022 we haven't figured out a better way to move that kind of capital, right?
And you can't do it on the weekend for sure.
Exactly. So this solves that whole thing too. And to Corey's point about the Lightning Network, which is a layer 2, which helps scale Bitcoin. Right, so it operates kind of on the side of the Bitcoin network. It operates completely fast. Cash App is moved to using the Lightning Network, but I don't even think that's really even priced into Bitcoin at this point.
All right, so real quick, let's question of the night: are you investing in crypto? To the audience out there, are you investing in crypto? And remember, we're going to do a kind of a contest, right, in a minute. So make sure y'all got y'all notes. Make sure y'all taking notes, because I'm going to be asking y'all some of the question. Somebody has been dropping book recommendations, so that's a hint. Y'all should be able to answer those. All right, so let's jump into some of these comments real quick, because y'all know the comments will get away real fast. Just saying what's up to some of the folks. See a lot of y'all in here. Rochelle said, how you doing?
Rochelle, what's up, sis?
Yes, we got the air horn. The air horn is necessary. I gotta get some. Listen, I'm about to go crazy over here with production, but I got some other sounds I'm going to be looking for. Go ahead,
Get the air horn on.
Okay.
That's my homegirl, Kat. What's up, Kat? Debt Free Dad.
You're
Jones here. Jimmy or James Bronner. All right, so he says trade volumes, number of tokens and supply, max supply, who invested in them, and the uses.
Yeah, that's when we were talking about the white papers.
Yep. Jose's in the building.
Peace, King.
Don Johnson's in the building. What's up,
Don?
What's up, Jose? John Jones, what's up? What's up? What's up?
John James.
Oh, I said it wrong. I was reading too fast.
Jose.
Phyllis Luster, Cheryl. She liked them stats. Shout out to Northern Bell. Northern Bell's like on every one of my broadcasts. I appreciate you so much.
Shout out to Northern Bell.
All right, Cheryl. Yep. 100 million stats equals 1 Bitcoin. That is correct. That is correct. Minor rewards.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about that. And so, yes, Lysandra gets to play. So I want to put this up there, right? Because the world we live in, a lot of times men ignore the sisters. A lot of times men ignore the women. She said, I want to play. And I said, come on.
Come on down.
Jump in. Because she can carry the weight.
No, listen, she's dope.
Absolutely. Chili, what's up, man? Where you been? All right, so he says CEO of Celsius Network has yields of 12%. The site on pause.
So
y'all talked about that, right?
Yeah, just a little bit, right? So what I see happening is they're pausing it because Goldman Sachs is trying to buy it, right? And so what they're trying to do is keep people from flooding and taking their value off of there, so before Goldman Sachs can get a hold of it, because Goldman Sachs is trying to raise $2 billion to buy it. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a good ROI for the CEO. And they held the CEO in the country because Boy was trying to flee. So there's a lot going on with the Celsius network. So they're holding up the transactions so that people just don't, because people were panicking and just taking all their money off of exchange. And basically what they doing, they playing a shell game, right? Because they were taking money from one place and putting it in another place, and they all use each other, and they had too much money going out and not enough money coming in, and people were taking down their stuff off of their joint, and they was ready to collapse.
So here's the thing: Celsius probably was the best CeFi site when it was operable.
CeFi, what is CeFi? Come on,
centralized finance versus decentralized finance, which is DeFi. But the issue we had, and you know, when we actually would go out and do talks and things like that. So here's the funny thing, right? All of my friends and colleagues in traditional finance would think I was crazy because of playing in the Bitcoin space. But the people in the Bitcoin and crypto space, they hate me too, because I say that 90% of crypto and 90% of NFTs and all of it is scams. But there are some good ones, right? But you have to do your research and figure out what those good ones are.
Did you say 90%? 95%?
I would say over 95%.
90 to 95%.
I would say over 95% of cryptocurrency is completely garbage and scams, right? I would say that, right? But I think it's value in those 5%, right? So you got to figure out how to get in there. Now,
navigate that.
With that being said, Celsius was one of the better platforms. But what was interesting about that is, like, you could start to see how they were shifting some of their terms of service. So I was telling folks, like, start to move your money off there. But even when I was telling folks about using Celsius, I always said, and it's on the record, you never put you put a small amount, right? You put a small amount because when you were using a service to get a yield, if you look at what, say, let's use Bitcoin as an example because it's easy to do. If you look at what Bitcoin has been producing in terms of ROI just by appreciation on an annual basis, you're giving a third party again the ability to control your asset to pick up pennies in front of what's already something that's going up 20-30% per year. So it didn't make sense from a risk reward standpoint, right? Anytime you give your money to a third party, there's a certain level of risk involved in that, specifically with crypto. What Celsius was doing is they were practicing something called rehypothecation, right? Why he laughing at me, man?
What a word!
No, listen, I told you bring me on. I'm gonna get in my nerd bag.
I love it.
I think I can spell that. Okay, boom.
Yeah. So with rehypothecation, what they're doing is essentially they're like lending out assets or taking assets from customers, lending out, but they're using them as margin for something else. And they were doing this too much. That's all good when you're in a bull market, right? But when things start to go the other way, that's when you kind of get in trouble with that. And you see a lot of the crypto banks are getting in trouble now. But I think that in the long term, in the grand scheme of things, this is all healthy for the market. This is real capitalism because there aren't the FDIC protections. There aren't the protections. So what you're seeing is people that were over leveraged, people that were doing things that they shouldn't.
They're going out of business.
They're going out of business and they're being wiped out. That's the way.
That's exactly what should happen.
Is actually supposed to work. What we have in the TradFi or traditional finance sector doesn't happen because we don't have true capital.
Because people are so used to companies getting propped up by
the government
agencies and all this stuff. They don't know what capitalism really looks like. Capitalism is supposed to look like what crypto looks like. When you you're supposed to go out of business. Right? That's what happened with what was the boy who got played and scammed and then in Luna. That's what Terra Luna went through, right? And we can talk about what stable coins really are.
That Corey is funny, right? So I was going to say Is everybody investing in crypto? Drop a comment in the chat. That was going to be my next question. What stable coins I was going to get there, but what's staking? And then we'll get to stable
Staking is taking whatever coin or token it is and giving it to the exchange wherever it is and letting them give you a return on that. It's like putting your money in the bank and getting a return, right?
To me, it's like a CD.
Yeah, it's like a CD.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they promise you a rate of return over time.
But they're doing that to help fund these new coins and tokens, right?
They're doing it to provide liquidity to other people on the exchange, right? So these exchanges need liquidity. So they need people to stake that liquidity. They need people to put money there. It's just like the bank. The banks need
deposits.
Banks need money.
No, they're market makers.
It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing banks do. They need liquidity to be able to give out returns.
And if y'all don't know what market makers are, right? So I love the stock market. Everybody knows that. But when you look at what's going on in the stock market, why there's so much volume, there are certain organizations that are called, quote unquote, market makers. BlackRock is definitely a market maker. I'm sure JP Morgan is a market maker. Vanguard's definitely a market maker.
Absolutely.
There's definitely many other.
There's about 10 of them. There's about 10 real market
in that system, right? So, and this is the thing, right? So many parallels, but one of the good things about crypto is things get flushed out a lot easier than they do in that system, right? When you look at it, when you look at the system, right away. When you have BlackRock and Vanguard who have all that control over American business, is actually kind of hilarious, right? When you look at how many board seats and how much power they're able to garner based upon using our funds, right? When I look at Blackstone spinning off and having INVH, and they're buying up all the residential real estate. Like, it's amazing. They're literally using our capital to acquire not only assets but power. They get seats on these boards based upon, because when you think about that, the funds that are within these companies, it's not their money, it's our money.
Trillions and trillions of dollars of assets. They're using your money to make money.
But it's funny, right? So part of the reason why I love the markets, part of the reason why I love capitalism, right? We can take some of these same ideas and use them in our communities to make a better standard of living, a better standard of health, a better standard of job markets in our communities, but we haven't quite figured it out.
Yeah, but the capitalism really only works for little businesses in America, right? Like when there's businesses in America that are too big to fail. In real capitalism, that can never happen. Your business cannot be too big to fail in real capitalism, right? If your business is bad, it will go out of business. If we had real capitalism, we don't have capitalism.
Well, potentially
we have a free market system, but we don't have capitalism. There's a difference between a free market system and capitalism.
It's free-ish.
It's
free-ish.
But
I mean, think about it. If we really had a market system, there will be no circuit breakers, right?
Yep.
What company just got halted the other day?
There was plenty of companies that got halted.
No, because they ran up.
No, this was the other day. This was a couple days ago.
I can't think of. I can't remember who it was, but very popular company. But that would never happen in real capitalism. To that point. But Sandra, I thought did you add something? No,
because when you were talking about taking those same ideas and doing it in our community, the problem that we have is that the charlatans that we talk about have the loudest voices and speak the sweetest words, and promising all of these huge pie in the sky things, get it tomorrow, and then that's where we lose it. Then by the time people really figure that stuff out, they've lost all of their money, and so now they're back to square one. When I tell you, anything worth having takes patience. It takes patience, consistency. It takes the education. It's not just copying and pasting. It's not just, let's go look at this program and it's not doing stuff the criminal way, right? Because listen, we see the hustles, right? We see the hustles. Like, and it burns me to no end, because by the time you get to the people, then you come run to us. Like, we're sitting up here, we're throwing up the red flags. We're like, no, but we're haters. And then once you figure out, no, we were not wrong, And then by the time you get to us, then you want us to come and be able to fix whatever it is for you for free.
A lot of time fixing up problems that other people have.
And it costs more to fix it than to not do it in the first place.
What pisses me off the most is when people be like, damn, Kamari, you were right. I should have listened to you. I'm like, I don't want you to tell me I'm right. I hate that. That's not why I tell you stuff. It's not an ego play.
Is not.
It's really not. But
it's like that. It's like the difference between subservience and listening, right? Just because you listen to somebody and follow directions doesn't mean you're subservient.
Facts.
Right? A lot of people think that listening being subservient to them, and that's not really what's happening. When you listen to somebody and they got good information, it doesn't make you subservient to them. It just means you listen to good advice. You listen to sound advice. Right?
Absolutely.
So this is where people go wrong in relationships. This is where people go wrong in the market. This is like it's just the ego. Jim talks about this all the time. The human ego is crazy, yo. Like people will walk their money right down into a fiery pit and burn it before they listen to somebody and tell them that what they're doing is the wrong thing. Like, and I'm like, yo, like, go ahead. But then when you gotta fix it, right? It calls like I am the poster child for making all the wrong bad financial decisions. I have made every single bad financial decision there is to make, and I will tell you firsthand that I am set back 20, 30 years from bad decisions I made when I was 18, 19 years old with money.
I just want to
you gotta, and the thing is, people, like I tell you this all the time, compound interest doesn't just work one way. Compound interest works with bad decisions too. When you compound bad decisions, they start to pile up. And so you have to make good decisions. One of the good decisions you can make is to study and read and to understand the product that you're buying and what you're buying, right? Because then people can talk, they can't talk circles around you, right? So if somebody, we had a dude on our show Friday telling us that Bitcoin is, something's going to happen to Bitcoin and then it's going away and this all this crazy stuff. My hours of study told me dude is weird. And just he didn't use his real name to talk to me. So why am I talking to this weirdo? Right?
And studying takes time, effort, and energy. And you have to be willing. You got to be willing to put in the work. It's just that simple. You got to be willing to put in the work. No, nobody's going to pay you for it right up front, right? It sucks. Okay. It costs. But if you do the work, once you learn for yourself, then you can see the BS coming from miles and miles away.
Absolutely. And that's why I want to, Kamari, add to the conversation. I think I already gave like 3 or 4 books. Corey mentioned ego. Ryan Holiday, ego is the enemy. That's another one.
Yep.
Because it goes into that, how a lot of us make decisions just based off ego, and it can definitely get in the way. So that's another good book there.
No, it is. Actually, I'm a big fan of Ryan Holiday. He's doing this whole daily stoic thing. And was that me? No. He's doing this whole thing called the Daily Stoic, and the Daily Stoic is really dope. Mm-hmm. Now, I hate it and love it all at the same time because all they do is focus on is Greek philosophers. Mm-hmm. And if you are a student of history like I am, you know the Greeks got everything from where? Africa.
Let's remix it. Let's do our version, Kamari. Let's remix it.
Listen, but the tenets are still sound and solid. And Jimmy, I'm with you. Let's do it.
Yo, that air horn got me over here like I'm about to be partying in this joint.
Yeah, Corey think he in the upper deck right now.
Oh wow,
Jim took that joint all the way he took it to the streets.
Shout out to the upper deck, man. They had the best buffalo wings in the city, but that's either here nor there.
Oh wow, you going real way back. All right, so Mark Smiles is in the building. Question asked: do you believe the decline of Bitcoin has anything to do with the world's attempt to cripple the Russian economy since it's fueling their economy?
Very, very small bit. I think it has more to do with trying to get the price down so that the big boys could get more control of it, right? Because they're using that as their secondary device after the markets to make money, right? So what they want to do is control the currency, right? Bitcoin the difference between what Bitcoin is trying to do and what all the other cryptocurrencies is trying to do is that Bitcoin is actually trying to become currency. All the rest of the cryptocurrencies aren't trying to become currency, right? So the fundamental
what are they trying
difference,
to become?
they're tech companies. They're trying to solve other problems. Bitcoin is trying to become actual currency, peer-to-peer currency between people. These other coins and tokens are not trying to solve the same problem. They're trying to solve, Ethereum is, a layered solution problem, and
Smart
this
contract.
coin is trying to solve that, and that token is trying to solve that. None of them are trying to solve the same problem Bitcoin is trying to solve. Bitcoin solved the problem of having money that can't be multiplied and used by and made crazy. Like, there's only 21 million Bitcoins that ever
You can't go print more of it.
Yeah, you can't. And this is why they're trying to get control of it and change the protocol so that they can try to take control of it and do that to Bitcoin, which is why the Bitcoin maxis is not having that.
It doesn't matter, because even if you control a majority of the small b, it doesn't matter. You can't do anything to the actual protocol.
Yeah,
right?
because the
price, right? Supply and demand.
You can control the price action, but you can't control the network.
But this is what I mean by people getting into it for different reasons, right? Because if you're looking to have sound money, that's one thing. If you're worrying about number go up, you're looking at it from a whole different perspective. The thing about this decrease, there's a lot of factors. I don't know if that was could be a factor, could not be a factor, but there's so many factors right now. It's market cycles. So just based upon market cycles, this was supposed to happen anyway.
Yep.
Right. Now, how far down it goes is a little bit different because there's other factors. I think it's ultimately healthy because one of the things that's happened is all of the excess leverage is getting flushed out of the system. People were leveraging up ungodly, right? And I'm not going to sit here and act as if I've never borrowed against I've bought literal real estate borrowing against my Bitcoin, but I've always refied, paid the Bitcoin back because I understand that to leverage is a thing. And right now they're flushing out all of that leverage. So all of that leverage is being flushed out. You're going to get rid of some of the people that are in it for the hype, the number go up. So I think long term, what's going on now is actually healthy.
They're shaking out all the weekends.
Pretty exciting for someone who's looking to be in this space for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. This is a buying opportunity. I can't believe I'm buying corn this cheap. So
back up. You bought real estate, not digital real estate.
No,
not metaverse.
Real real estate.
Actual dirts and blocks and bricks with Bitcoin.
Multiple properties. I actually I've done several classes where I actually show the process. I know this is a whole different platform, but I actually taught a course on I'll just say one of the bigger platforms, and I showed them exactly how.
You can say it.
Well, no, at EYL University, there's a class back there taught by me and Corey where I walked them through how I bought multiple properties using cryptocurrency as my leverage. How that played out is I leveraged a cryptocurrency, got the money, bought the property, right? Refied the property because I was buying a great property with a great ARV, paid the Bitcoin bank back, rinsed and repeat, and done it multiple times. So that's why when people
is after repair
value. That's why when people tell me that it's a fad or it's not going anywhere, I laugh because I literally have properties right now where I'm collecting rent that I got via Bitcoin that I started buying in 2016. So you can't tell me anything.
And the interest rate that you got, was it lower than the bank? Or was it higher?
1%.
Yeah.
At the time, we was doing it.
Say it again. I didn't hear you.
I've used multiple ways. One of the ways I paid 1%. The other way I paid about 2 or 3%.
Yeah,
but I had no monthly payments. So the entire time
when you borrow in crypto, you pay it back when you pay it back. As long as it's not over leveraged, it can sit there forever.
That's a whole other thing, right?
It's perpetual.
All right, that's going to be a part 2, y'all. We want to do that.
Yeah. But the thing is, even when I showed that and walked people through how I did it, showed the property, showed the actual receipts in terms of settlement statements. When I did all that, one of the things I stressed is refi and pay the bank back, right? Refi and pay the bank back because the asset will pay off the bank's money, but you always want to have that, as I call it, corn. You want to have that Bitcoin, that corn there to continuously, do.
Now, what is corn?
it's an old internet thing where some people call Bitcoin corn because this goes back again. This is real nerdy stuff, Kamari. But
that's what we're here for.
Back on the Bitcoin talk forum, someone used to call it Bitcoin by mistake, and it became a thing where people just call Bitcoin corn. This goes back years
like
ago.
stonks.
It's like one of those things. It's some real nerd stuff. But the bottom line is, the leverage is being flushed out of the system right now, which is ultimately going to be a good thing. Again, this is true capitalism, right? People over leverage and they get hurt. No one's bailing anybody out. Now, that's not to say that regulation won't come in some form of fashion in the future, but right now you're seeing a free market. People that got over leveraged, they lost their money. Companies that did things they shouldn't have, a la the Celsiuses, the Voyagers, and all that, they're in trouble. So this is what it should look like.
But I think a lot of people don't understand that, right? Because people really, again, don't study. So they don't really understand, one, what capitalism is, two, what capitalism is supposed to really look like. And so I think it's really hard for people to even imagine a world that's really capitalistic and understand the power, the true power in it. So I think that's really, really interesting. Really, really interesting. And when Jimmy talks about leveraging, right, we're seeing this kind of all over the place. Because as the Fed is raising interest rates, that's a form of deleveraging. As the Fed is stopping to buy mortgage-backed securities or mortgage-backed bonds, that's a form of deleveraging. That's sucking the money out of the system. So it's not going to be sweet. And I know there are a lot of people who leveraged, took some lines of credit, and were buying Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency as well. And so that's wreaking havoc on them. So it's getting really, really interesting. Really, really interesting. All right, there's a couple more questions. Won't keep you here long. We're going to get to this contest real quick. I know someone asked about stable coins, or was it? Oh man, I lost it.
Somebody asked.
All right, John James asked the thoughts on stable coins.
This has been my assertion about stable coins for the last 4 years, that the stable coins will be the first thing that will come under attack, right? And it's because if you can have an asset that doesn't have volatility where you can make money, it will put banks out of business. There would be no reason to have banks. And so I understood that stable coins were going to be the first thing that would come under attack, is because you have to destabilize these assets. You have to have volatility in these assets for banks to have a chance. Because if you can have a stable asset, let's say a Celsius that can pay 12%, why would I ever put my money in a regular bank if I can get 12% from Celsius? Why in the world would I do that? And it's because the asset was stable, right? And so stable coins are pegged to currency, right? They're pegged to some kind of other currency. They're pegged to the dollar, or they're pegged to gold, or they're pegged to some other thing, right? And so their price is stable to the other currency. So you got the Great British Pound, you got it to the Japanese yen, to the US dollar. So there's cryptocurrencies pegged to all of these things, right? And so what these things do is take the volatility out, and they were taking the volatility out and then giving out these great returns. What happens to the traditional system is money starts to come out of the traditional system and into these systems, because there's no reason in the world, if I can get 18% year over year in a crypto bank, that I'm gonna put it in a regular bank and get 1/5 of 1%. There's no way in the world I'm going to do that. And so
I just want to add to the conversation that a lot of those stable coins weren't stable to begin with, right? Because a lot of them are BS, right? We saw what happened to one of the bigger stable coins, but it lost its peg. And we've also known that Tether has been under investigation because they're supposed to have $1 put aside for every Tether that's created. So it's interesting too, because initially there were only a couple stable coins. Now there's so many stable coins, but like everything else, like I said, a lot of those are scams, right? So you have to be careful. The one that I'm interested to see how it plays out is the USDC.
Yep.
And the reason USDC is interesting to me is because a lot of people in the crypto space are like, anti-bank, government, all these kind of things. And I understand why. But one of the things I know from reading another book, by the way, The Creature from Jekyll Island, please read that book, is how banks operate. Banks don't lose. Banks control government. Banks control industry. They don't lose. So when I see something like USDC, which is a stable coin, which is backed by Circle, which is backed by Goldman Sachs, right? I start to wonder, okay, now you see all these other stable coins get flushed out. Let's see what happens to the Goldman Sachs. Actually, it looks like it's becoming more valuable considering what's happened to the other ones. Goldman Sachs doesn't lose, right? So that's the one I'm interested to watch, because I know when they get into a space, the whole time Goldman Sachs is telling you that crypto is bad, all you have to do is look at what they're doing and not what they're saying. They've been putting their hands into the pot, so to speak, for years. Circle is just one standpoint. They're in the space already. So, big banks do not lose. Goldman Sachs does not lose. They're not dumb by any stretch of imagination.
JP
so I'm
Morgan ain't losing.
Yeah, I'm not one of these guys that's saying, okay, I'm on crypto and F the bank and all that. I mean, I might say that too, but I also understand that the banks are going to be here. The banks are going to be here, and they're going to make money in this space like everybody else.
The banks control your currency, your current currency.
Yeah.
The U.S. has zero control over its current.
Listen, guess what? No matter what business you're in, right? I don't care whether you're in the tax business, you're in the real estate business, if you're selling fruit, everybody got to go see the bank one way or another. Y'all got to go see the bank.
We see that's going on with marijuana right now.
Got to go see the bank, right?
Absolutely. All right, some more questions, and then we'll get ready to do this game, this contest. Let's see here. There was a couple more. Here we go. I believe this is it. What are your thoughts on U.S. digital dollar, and do you think we are shadow driven into a digital currency?
My thought on the U.S. digital dollar is that 95% of all dollars are already digital. Mm-hmm. We already using X's and O's, right? is you swiping your card most of the time, you buying stuff overhead. Like 95% of all the transactions are already digital.
So there's a difference between digital and virtual. I think that's the thing that we want to.
Okay. So I would say, okay, if you want to make the distinction between digital and virtual, 95% of the transactions are already virtual, and digital. I mean, you could say they're digital too, because it's just a bunch of ones and zeros.
Right, but what I mean is, you swiping your card, that's a digital thing. Like Bitcoin is virtual. You can't hold a Bitcoin. You can actually hold a dollar. Your card is just putting that in a digital.
But I can spend my Bitcoin on my card the same way I spend on.
But you're never going to touch a Bitcoin, though.
Never,
that's my thing.
Ever. Yeah,
you can touch it. Right. Okay. You can touch a dollar. The swiping is just a digital version of that, but you're not going to ever hold a Bitcoin.
But see, they're trying to take it to 100% virtual. Like they're taking it from digital to virtual.
I got a thought on that though. And you're absolutely right, Lessandra. But I do want to say this though: if you get an open dime, you can make your Bitcoin physical. You can actually touch your Bitcoin. But that's for part 2, Kamari.
Yeah, don't we got all the gadgets.
I'm in 2035, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting here right now with my little Bitcoin grenades and all. I'm somewhere else. But the point about that is, right?
Pull the trigger, it's going to spray stats.
Listen, you don't even want to know what happens. Here's the thing, right? I love a good conspiracy.
He ain't shared, right?
I love a good conspiracy theory, right? And when I think about this U.S. digital dollar, right? You ever sometimes when you go to swipe a card and do something, they'll send you a text or something, say, hey, we're not going to approve this transaction, or do you want us to approve this transaction? The digital dollar scares me because I feel like there's a certain level of control you lose if all your money is given to you in a digital dollar.
Yep.
Where they can control what you spend your money on. You know what I mean? Like we see, and I'm tying it all together. You see what just happened in the most recent Supreme Court case, right? So we see the government controls that are there, and I'm not trying to get all like enemy of the state on you, but if you're giving me all my money in a digital dollar and we're just operating completely digitally now, and I don't have the ability to turn that into cash at that point, to Lysandra's point, right now I can turn it into cash, but if you remove that 100%, now you can control what I spend my money on.
Full control of your money.
So wait.
That's kind of scary to me.
Well, hold on, let's back up because I want to put this in real context because that's the thing. Jimmy's talking about Roe versus Wade abortion rights. Some of the states, like Texas, I think there are a few others, are talking about enacting laws when people helped other people get abortions. So, like, if you extrapolate that further, right? If anybody does an abortion, let's say in a state, and they can track the digital currency, they can see what they got paid for.
Yeah, but it goes beyond that. That's with everything.
Well, that's just the first stop. I'm going there.
Okay, you got it.
If somebody picked up Karen because she got pregnant by Tyrone and then drove her, and you can track the digital, I'm going there, and you can track it, then they potentially could be prosecuted.
Yeah.
They can track you. If all the dollars are digital and you spend a digital dollar anywhere, they know where you've been.
One of the good things about cash,
Sanders got the phone up, right? Everybody's phone is trackable.
That's true. But one of the good things about cash is if you have cash, right? And cash is king. I'm just joking. I want to start Kamari and Corey on the arguing about that. But anyway,
no, Corey already got the point. He agreed. He knows where I'm going with it.
Anyway, but the bottom line is if you have cash, right? There's a certain level of not I want to say decentralization because it's not decentralization, but it's like really untraceable to a certain point.
Autonomy.
Right? And then what the funny thing is, people talk about like crypto or Bitcoin is only used for crime. I'm like, actually, the dollar bill is
the U.S. dollar is the
Bitcoin.
Right? The biggest
because but in cash. So that's the thing about cash. But if you get rid of that aspect of it and you make it all digital, and now you can track everything that I spend, everywhere that I spend, what I'm spending on, you better believe they're going to keep that data. If I go spending cash now, you might not have that data. But if I'm, now you have data, and data is dangerous.
Yeah, but if you go to an ATM, right, they know where you got the money out, but they don't have any idea where you spent the dollars at until they get the tax data back, right? Because you spent physical dollars. If I swipe my card in 4 different places, you know where I've been on all 4 of those transactions. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So imagine a world where you don't have any kind of no protections against that, right?
You shut all your junk off. That's what it is. Just shut all your junk
off. If they don't want you to have any, like the being rich or being poor won't be your choice because the government will have full control over how much money you can spend and where you can spend it. And that's why the Bitcoin network is so necessary because they can't stop your spending on the Bitcoin network. They can stop you.
What if you want to spend money on the underworld doing some nefarious things, right?
Full control.
All we have is a digital dollar. Not saying you should do that, by the way. Don't do those things, people. Don't do those things.
Because they will catch you. It might take them a minute.
They will.
Yeah,
I'm not saying to do those things.
2 words, Silk Road. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not saying to do those things. I'm just saying, but yeah. So that's a whole that's a whole show in itself, Kamari. But to answer that question, I think the digital dollar is kind of scary.
It is.
Okay.
I'm scared.
Okay. All right. That's cool. All right. So listen, we're going to run this contest real quick and we're going to get to a couple questions. A couple things you got to do. I want to give out 4 lots of $25 in Bitcoin. Got that idea from Bada Hood, by the way.
Oh, what an air horn, bro. Air horn.
Right. I got that idea from Bada Hood. I don't have the little spinny thing. I got to get that. I got to figure that out.
It's wheelofnames.com.
I ain't doing it right now. I ain't got time.
It takes 30 seconds, bro.
Wheel of Names?
Yeah, that's the website.
No, I ain't going to do that because it's going to be first come, first serve, right?
Okay. First come, first serve. So
you got to do a couple things in order to win the $25. First thing you got to do is you have to be registered or subscribed to the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel. Yeah, youtube.com, The Finance Rebel.
I ain't mad at that.
You got to do that. All right. And second thing. All right. So this is the thing. It's first come, first serve. Jimmy has mentioned 5 books. 5 books. What is the book that he mentioned that's not contain a "the" in the beginning of it? First person that gets the first one.
You're getting real wild. Also, you got to be subscribed to youtube.com/buythehood, by the way. But,
yeah, we can do that too. Listen, you got to be subscribed to youtube.com, the Home Biz Tax Lady as well. So, and I'm going to verify, but I'm putting mine up right now because it's my show.
As you should.
Listen, I went and subscribed with my my crappy channel too, so I'm subscribed twice.
All right. Now, who put it in there? Who put it in there? Somebody's got to put it in there. The question is, Jimmy named 5 books. What's the first book that he talked about that does not have a "the" in the beginning of the title? We're waiting.
Mark Small said good thing in Black America.
Jimmy didn't mention that book.
I didn't even mention that book, guys. See, Mark watches a lot of content.
Because we talk about that book a lot.
So that was an educated guess. Good guess, Mark. That's not
Good guess, Mark.
Ego is the enemy. That is the correct answer.
All right, Angela. All right. Angela is on author, so let me start Angela. And I believe Angela is subscribed to the YouTube channel. I believe she is. If she's not, I can't pay you, Angela. Now, the way you gotta get this money is you gotta send me an email. You gotta send me an email with your Cash App symbol. All right, and so send an email to kamariellis@gmail.com. All right, I'll give it to y'all in the chat. If y'all can't tell, this is all live. That's the benefit of going live. All right, so that's number one. Number one. Now, next question. What is the first book Jimmy mentioned? First person gets it.
Somebody put it in the comments too.
They did it already?
No, I'm saying earlier.
Oh, yeah, I'm already looking. Everything below my name or below Ego is the Enemy is going to count. Because I know y'all get slick.
All right.
You know, we get slick. We smart. Our people smart, you know. All right, did we get it yet? Let's see.
No, I don't see anything yet.
Let's see. The first book that Jimmy mentioned. The first
Anybody
book.
remember? Anybody still here?
That was like very early.
No, that's the second.
Nope. Oh, come on. Can't tell him.
Oh.
Hey, Mark, you should have been on. You slipping, bro. All right, make sure y'all are all subscribed to the YouTube channel. Come on, y'all. Come on, ain't it? Mark, you copying now. Stop copying off everybody else's paper.
That's our favorite book, but that wasn't the very first book you mentioned tonight.
Yep. Now, Corey told me to get that book, and he told me where to get it for free, but I actually brought it on Audible. I just haven't had a chance to get into it yet, but that's coming.
White papers aren't a book, but we did talk about that. The white papers are from...
Did you say the white pages? Does the white pages even exist anymore?
They actually do.
They do?
Yeah.
They didn't go online yet?
No, it's Yelp. That's what Yelp is. That's the yellow pages.
Oh, Lord.
Yelp is the yellow pages. Yellow pages. Yelp.
And Yelp is trash.
That's actually the online version of the yellow pages.
Yeah, but the Yellow Pages actually used to be owned by Bell. Yelp is owned by a totally separate company, I believe.
I'm just saying, but that's what the Yellow Page. That's what
I got you. That makes sense. I got sense. All right, come on, y'all. Ain't nobody got it. The first book that Jimmy talked about. Do I get to give myself this? Do I get to buy myself $25 worth of Bitcoin?
Come to answer and move on to another question because ain't nobody got it.
All right, next one. All right, so the answer was The Business of Blockchain. That was the first book. Yep, that was it. That was
the book that Talisha
Shine. Yep. Shout out to Talisha Shine. Talisha Shine has done several videos on this channel. NFTs, Bitcoin, blockchain, you name it. Y'all should go to not only, actually, if you go to Buy the Hood, YouTube / Buy the Hood, YouTube / damn it, what is your, the Home Biz Tax Lady, YouTube / The Finance Rebel. It's really like a college degree. If y'all just consume the content on those 3 channels, it's really like a college degree. And these are all reputable people. I know them all in person, IRL. They are not no charlatans. So check it out, y'all. Check it out, y'all.
We ain't one of them janky people. That ain't what we do.
All right, you know what? I
been
might.
a charlatan in the past. I'm no longer a charlatan.
Nah, I don't think you was a charlatan. You just you was a hot boy.
Me and the government had plenty of beef. They won every one of those beefs.
All right, so the second book. What was the last book that Jimmy mentioned? So we got one winner. One winner is Angela.
The very last book that he mentioned.
The very last book that he mentioned. I told y'all to get y'all pen and pad out. I told y'all to take notes. You can't say I didn't warn you. Come on, y'all.
It has to do with the Federal Reserve.
Damn, Corey, you just.
I'm just trying to give him hints so we don't be here all night.
Listen, I need my timer, right? Yes, Northern Bell, please rewatch. Please like, comment, and share. Listen, the algorithms don't like me, y'all. I be having fire shows, right? And that's not even to pat myself on the back, but to pat my guests on the back. A lot of the guests I bring on bring a lot of great information. Again, there's college level education on these 3 YouTube channels. And I'm gonna say mine's the most, but this is my show. When we going by the hoods, they'll be the most. And if I ever get an invite to the Home Biz Tax Lady show, it'll definitely be hers. But I don't know, I'm playing seeds because I'm still trying to track down Lysandra. Still trying to track her down, but she's been very elusive.
We got some comments. I think we got a winner.
All right, Angela, you can only win once.
Hey, if she got 2 right answers, she can win.
Hey, listen,
She
you
can win.
didn't say that ahead of time.
She did what she's supposed to do.
You didn't say that ahead of
She can
time.
win.
All right, so Angela about to be rich with the Bitcoin.
I ain't mad, Angela.
So
let's get it.
listen. This is why it's dope, right? Because sisters always back sisters. So
yes,
and I can't fight the sisters. So
you gonna call me for something, and I'm gonna be like, "You remember what you did, Angela?"
Facts. That's a fact. That's a fact. That is a fact. I can't even dag. I ain't got a retort for that. You know I'm the king of retorts.
But look, let me say this though on this whole tax front though.
Yes.
There's a lot of, especially there, I see a lot of people promoting different types of crypto trading and all of this stuff, you guys. Every one of those trades has to be reported until they come up with something else, okay? So people are selling you on this whole thing of, using the software to make these trades. Yes, you can make the money and all of that. But it's all short-term gains, okay? So that's taxed at regular income tax rates. So the more money you make, the more taxes you're gonna pay, okay? And then I had a client this past season that got bit by AMT, alternative minimum tax, and net investment income tax. He wound up paying like $90,000 more in taxes than he was really expected to pay. So you've got to get with somebody before you just, ain't nobody saying that you can't touch your money, but you better make some phone calls and get some consultations to make sure of what you're doing before you wind up paying more to the government than what you really need to. You see that? What is my last video, Kamari, since you're on my channel? 4 months ago, 6 months, how long ago? I was tired, you guys.
What, 1099 NEC versus 1099K?
Was that my last one? For some reason, I thought that was something, but anywho, okay, so I'm just letting you know, you got till July 1st. Yeah, that was the last one. So 4 months since my last video.
Y'all see what she's doing, right? y'all see what she's doing, right?
The shade is real.
The shade is real. Like, I can't keep up. I can't keep up at all. Listen, I'm at a measly 6K, right? And I don't mean measly because I appreciate every one of the follows that I have, but I'm trying to catch up.
Listen, man, you killing on TikTok though. You viral over there.
That was luck. That was luck. I didn't plan that at all. But real quick, all right. So we gave away 2 Angela's definitely in the lead. She's got $50 you can bank on. Hopefully you don't sell your Bitcoin. Make sure you keep it. Like Jimmy said, we didn't even get a chance to talk about that. So we'll get to that in a minute. But we got two more, right? All right. What is the name of the book that had standard in the title? I mean, it can't get no easier than that, right?
At this point, he's trying to get out of here.
First come, first serve. Make sure y'all follow By the Hood on YouTube as well. Subscribe to YouTube on the YouTube. Subscribe to By the Hood on YouTube as well. And listen, y'all see me garbling my words because I have my vittles. Those that know me, those that rock with me, y'all know I need my vittles. All right, so Mark Small comes in. Now, Mark, you left a word out.
He's been trying.
He's trying to get. Look, he's still trying. Look, he's trying to get in there fast. Like,
all right, Mark, I need the whole title. Y'all not getting my money that cheap.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
You being a jerk right now, bro.
Listen, it's my money. I work hard for this money, and I gotta pay taxes on this money. Come on.
You tripping.
And I might get in a little trouble with YouTube because they're gonna be like, you're running a contest. So this is for the people, right? Just want to have some fun. All right, so Mark, all right, you win. I ain't gonna. It's the THE, the Bitcoin Standard, but I got you. All right, there we go, Mark. There we go. All right, so Mark's got 25, Angela's got 50, and we got one more. All right, how many blockchains are there? Jimmy brought it up. There's how many blockchains? Excuse me. Stop. How many Bitcoins are there?
Now or ever?
I was about to say.
Jimmy said it. Corey said it too, but Jimmy said it first.
Ever. We said two different numbers.
No. Not the number of Bitcoin. How many different types of Bitcoin are there?
What are you talking about?
No, I think you confuse yourself, good brother. That's not.
I'm not, because you do a different thing. Now Mark came up with 20, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm being a little bit more slick than that.
Okay.
What's the highway and what's the passenger car on the highway?
Oh, the layer 2 solution.
Well, no, one was capital. I done gave it away. So you said Bitcoin with a B, with an uppercase B.
Oh, you're talking about that. Okay.
And Bitcoin with a lowercase b. All right. We're going to give it to Northern Bell because Northern Bell's here all the time. She said one. There's only one Bitcoin. All right. But what I was saying was Jimmy was trying to explain, or did explain, he didn't try, to explain that people talk about Bitcoin in two different layers. There's Bitcoin with the B, uppercase B, which refers to blockchain, which refers to the application level where everything runs on. And then Jimmy was talking about the lowercase Bitcoin, right, which talks about the actual coin. So, but Northern Bell, you win. So listen, everybody, all you got to do is email me at Kamari Ellis. I put it in the chat earlier. KamariEllis@gmail.com. Send me your Cash App sign, and I will send you over some Bitcoin. $25 a piece. So Angela gets 50.
I did want to address one thing. I saw a question on there that said I thought Bitcoin was slow. That's what
some people say that.
No, but that's what the Lightning Network is for. The Lightning Network allows it to move literally like lightning. I can send Corey $10,000 right now. I'll have it in 10 seconds.
Yep.
On the Lightning Network.
Yep. Mm-hmm. This is how that's how El Salvador and Miami were able to scale their Bitcoin things because the Lightning Network allowed for those transactions to happen almost instantaneously.
Yeah, so just take a look for for those that never heard of that. Just Google the Lightning Network, and you'll get a lot of information from there.
Okay, all right. So real quick, as we close out or get ready to close out, you said never to sell Bitcoin. Why?
I think that Bitcoin is property, right? And by the way, Mark, I just want to tell you, Mark Shiv, I just saw your thing. The actual name of the book is called 21 Lessons from the Bitcoin Rabbit Hole or something like that, in case you're looking it up. But I'm personally never selling mine. And by the way, this is not investment advice. It's for educational, informational purposes only. I want to put that on the record. But I'm personally never selling mine because I believe that where it will be in the future and what it will become, it's really revolutionary. And it's like I said, it has elements of real estate, it has elements of the stock market, it has elements of precious metals, and I believe that it is the future, right? So because of that, I see the value after and I believe you me, I think that we're going to go through several cycles. This isn't the last time that is going to go down like this. And I don't think that we've seen a bottom even yet. But one of the things that I do, again, is dollar cost averaging. I believe that is the best way to buy Bitcoin. I know a lot of you gurus and people online want to tell you how to time the market, go buy that. I don't believe in that. I don't think anyone alive can time the market. I don't care what they say, right? So I believe dollar cost averaging is the best way to buy Bitcoin, and any other asset for that matter. But I'm not selling mine for those reasons, because I feel like we haven't seen its true value yet. There's so many things happening on Bitcoin that the average consumer isn't really aware of. One of the things about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general is a lot of the smartest minds are now working in this space. In the past several years, they would go to social media companies, some of the big tech companies. Now, a lot of the smartest minds that graduate from our best colleges and our biggest brains and brightest people that are dictating what happens in the future, they're working on Bitcoin and crypto related projects. So I think that's something to really pay attention to. So that's why I'm never selling mine personally.
Okay. Now, I did see another book recommendation in the chat. I'm trying to find it. And I thought it was...
I remember. Yeah, somebody...
I was going to ask, what could they expound on that? Because I never saw it before. Like I've heard of some of the others. Tiffany Sunshine Brown.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. There was a book. Read The Price of Tomorrow.
Jeff Booth, by Jeff Booth. I've read that. That's another good book.
That's another good book. Okay. Good stuff. What did you get out of The Price of Tomorrow, Tiffany? I want to know. I'm just curious. Now, you're Bitcoin. Never selling. What's that? What was that, John?
I said what you got from that book is to buy Bitcoin. I said to buy Bitcoin.
That's what you got.
But no, but it's a pretty good book though.
Okay. All right. So, Corey, you feel the same way?
What, as far as the book?
No, as far as buying Bitcoin.
Oh yeah, that's why. I mean, I've been in the crypto space since 2016, right? So I've tried literally almost every single coin, and token out there, and at this point, I understand because of study that it's all hogwash. Like, Bitcoin is the only truly feasible coin token that I see for the foreseeable future. And here's why. Infrastructure is actually being built for the Bitcoin network and for Bitcoin, right? Anything that you can do on any of these other tokens and coins, you can do on the Bitcoin network. You can do that on the Bitcoin. You can do that on the Bitcoin network, right? So if you want to buy NFTs, you can buy them on the Bitcoin network.
Now I thought most of them are being traded in Ethereum.
Ethereum has the larger NFT market, but if there are NFT sites on the Bitcoin network. If you want to, what other problems are these other things? Because Bitcoin is scalable, you can do anything on Bitcoin that you can do on any of these other. You can build tokens on top of Bitcoin. There are tokens built on top of Bitcoin.
Okay. Lysandra, do you have any thoughts about Bitcoin, ownership, keeping it, taxation?
Yeah, well, I already talked about the tax piece, right? But yeah. So here's what I say. If you are saying to yourself, like, I don't know what the future is going to hold. Like, there's all this uncertainty out there. Nobody's telling you to go put like your whole mortgage into Bitcoin. Okay.
Don't do that.
Nobody is telling you to do that. You can start small, right? You could go put $50. You could put $10, like whatever. That's the beauty of it all, is like you don't need a whole lot of money to get started. You could do this a little bit at a time, so that it just, because some people are like, what if it just bottoms out completely, just goes to zero? Okay, first of all, that's not going to happen. I don't see that happening. But you're putting in there what you can afford to lose, right? So that's what I'm saying. Let's not go put, mortgage money and all of that, but you can still consistently invest even in small amounts. And so, yes, because I do that.
And listen, we have people in our community that buy $1 a day.
I was going to ask you, because I know at one point you were saying about $5 a day, $1 a day. Why do y'all do that? Obviously, it's dollar cost averaging, but why do you do that?
Because we believe that, and because we have been dollar cost averaging since 2016, that if you buy small amounts, first of all, you spend $1 a day on BS. Like you spend $1 a day farting, right? So let's you're not going to miss $1 a day, right?
Exactly.
$5 a day. It's something that we're telling you to use, something that you're not going to miss, right? If you spend $1 a day or $5 a day, or like for me, every time I buy something I'm not supposed to have, I'll buy the same amount in Bitcoin. But one thing it keeps me accountable, right? Like if I go buy a soda and it costs me $2, I ain't supposed to be drinking soda, but I'll go buy myself $2 in Bitcoin, right? Just as an accountability measure. So my thing is something that I won't miss, right? It's all about being strategic and being smart, right? And I would rather have some in the event that it blows up than to not have any and then have to pay that premium to get involved in the game, right? Because now you're still not paying the premium that you're going to pay once everything gets mined.
Gotcha.
Right?
And I for me, it was really like it was like some real like nerd-ish. I've been buying literally every hour. So I buy Bitcoin every hour.
So what you spending like $100 an hour, Jimmy?
Well, no, hold on though, because let me finish this. I buy a small amount every hour. I buy once a day on a whole different platform.
Once a week.
And then I buy once a week. And I've been doing this for a little while, so I like to look and then do a comparison to see if I'm spending the same amount of money, but I'm doing it in different ways, which way actually gives me more coin, right? Because if I'm spending the same amount, let's just say for argument's sake, I'm spending $50 a day, right? But I'm doing it different ways, or let me say a couple $100 a week. But let's say I'm doing it different ways. Which way at the end of the day will give me more coin? And to answer that question, since I've been doing that, actually every hour has. So the more frequent, the
more frequent buys will give you
even though I'm spending the same amount, even though
you're catching more of the price fluctuation.
But there's been studies on that though, right? I mean, you could potentially get more, especially when you're buying dips. But for your average everyday person, when I say buying dips with massive amounts of money, but for your average everyday person, that probably is the best way to go.
But I'm talking about actual, like I have actual data, right? So I'm talking about if I'm just spending a set amount, right? So this is not about dollar cost averaging versus buying the bottom. This is how often should you dollar cost average? Should I do it once a week, once a month, versus once every hour? So that's what I'm testing out. I'm already committed to DCA, but now that I'm committed to DCA, which way do I want to do it? Kamari, like I could really go on a nerd. Like one of the ways I buy is I write a Python program that buys.
He wrote a program
that actually buys. That actually buys for me, and I don't pay to buy Bitcoin. I buy it for free, but that's either here nor there.
Okay, well, I think that's a great place to end the show. I appreciate y'all all to be here. Lysandra, when we gonna do some other stuff so I can catch up with you? See, she ain't gonna let me do nothing else because she gonna be scared I'm gonna catch her. But in all seriousness, Lysandra, I appreciate you.
And one thing I am not is scared. Okay, let us be clear.
She wasn't gonna let that slide. She wasn't gonna let that slide. Y'all see that, right?
Okay.
She's supposed to.
It's all good. But Lysandra, I appreciate you. I'm so glad you're here. We definitely had to do some more things.
Absolutely.
And Lysandra has actually helped me out. There's another podcast that I'm working on. I haven't quite launched it yet. this is probably going to be my favorite thing, but it's coming real soon. It's coming real soon.
Yeah.
Mark, will you finding hours in the day to do all this stuff, bro?
Listen, man, I'm dedicated. I really have a teacher's heart. I mean, I love finance. I love business, but I love our community more. And
I do too, but I got kids and swim meets and stuff. I'm like, dude.
My kids is old.
They live on the internet, bro. Like, guys, Zookies.
Nah, I live in real life too now. I'm not a caricature.
Kamari said, forget them kids. He only feed one McDonald's anyway.
Oh, we're not talking about McDonald's. We're not going there. I'm gonna say this though. I'm gonna say I don't care what side of the coin you fall on with that McDonald's thing. It's a very complex situation. Very complex. Listen, thanks for that at all. I appreciate y'all, but I do have one ask for everybody since Jimmy brought it up earlier, right? Go on over and subscribe to the Finance Rebel Show, right? We put all the shows on there, and there's some shows that are not aired on YouTube over there. And Jimmy brought this up, the strategy of becoming overemployed. A lot of people like that. And while you're over there, do me a favor, give me a subscribe.
Yeah, bro. Let people know you like better episodes, bro. You did your thing. You was really you really on your journalist bag right there.
Hey, I call it being a teacher. Any teacher could be a journalist, in my opinion. Any real teacher.
No, Corey, you gotta check it out. Like, dude comes on with like the whole voice changer. Like
he's like an FBI informant.
Yeah, I said Corey out here interviewing mafia members.
Yo, I got this iPhone here. I haven't used this iPhone in 7 months.
Since the Cap House days.
Yeah, man. I'm only paying $5 a month for my bill, so that's the only reason I'm doing.
Oh, you got to put me on to that, but we'll talk about that after the show.
Wherever you listen to podcasts, listen to the Finance Rebel, man. But that was one of your better episodes. Like, that was dope. That was dope. I learned a lot on that because I didn't know anything about that culture or that movement.
Well, the funny thing is, Jimmy, you're writing Python, so you easily could become overemployed.
I know.
No comment though. No comment because I don't want to out you. But again, listen, everybody, I will be here the next time, which will be the fun time. Don't forget to email me, KamariEllis@gmail.com, your Cash App tag, and I will send y'all winnings. Again, Angela 150, Mark $125 in Bitcoin, and Northern Bell $125 in Bitcoin. All right. Until the next time, I will see y'all soon. Thanks again. Y'all have a great night. So long.
Hit the joint, Kamari.